And red?
One or two. Fred Rogers. You know, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, which is in Pittsburgh. Penguins, Stanley Cup 1991 and 92. 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 1 or 2 equals 20 and 21, which means either 2 or 3 o'clock.
A volunteer willingly steps forward when asked. So the sign for volunteer is pulling yourself forward. This is also the sign for apply, as in applying for a job. We show a slave as someone whose wrists are bound by a rope. A person is free when he breaks out of the bonds of slavery. This is also the sign for freedom and liberty. The most common sign for lock is related to the concept of enslavement. If your hands become bound like this, it's as if they're locked and won't come apart. The sign for habit is related to the concept of enslavement. Think of yourself as a slave to a habit with your wrists bound by a rope. This downward motion shows the repetitiveness of the habit. Use the letter T for tradition. Form the letter C to represent a computer. Move it across your other hand, representing a table or desk. You just created a desktop computer. You'll also see computers signed like this. Visualize your thumbs as test tubes, which scientists use to pour and mix chemicals. Use the letter C to make the sign for chemistry. Use the letter B for biology. Use the letter E for experiment. Think of your index fingers as wires, which you touch together a few times to complete an electric current. The sign for physics is related to the sign for electricity. Use the index and middle fingers of both hands and touch them to complete an electric circuit. This sign looks like one of the motions an orchestra conductor uses to direct the musicians. Use the letter P to make this sign, and music becomes a sign for poetry. You learn the signs for wide and narrow. The sign for profession shows that a person has followed a very specialized career path. Travel along this path with the letter P for profession. Remember that a professional has followed a very narrow specialized career path. Grab some skills from this specialized career path and you're an expert. This is also the sign for skill. When we practice, we're trying to figuratively sharpen and polish our skills. The sign, however, shows a literal sharpening or polishing of your fingernails or the blade of a knife, whichever you prefer. Move the letter D across your teeth where your dentist would do her job. You might also see the sign dentist signed this way. Draw a question mark in the air to represent a question. A test is questions on paper. This is also the sign for exam. Put the letter F on paper and you failed at this assignment. This is also the sign for flunk. You can analyze something in front of you by digging down and probing for answers. Think of your hand as a car's ignition. Put your key in and turn it. This is also the sign for begin.